Welcome to another tier ranking video here. We're doing Eldar today, Aeldari.
All right, my first time on the stream. Let's go. We can make this good.
This is not the whole book. We're not doing. We're just doing Craft World.
So no clowns.
No clowns.
No Ynnari. So I won't see your brain.
No Ynnari. That's right. We're going to be doing everything else. What's wrong, Anthony?
I don't see you guys for that.
Don't we have to go live on YouTube also?
It's broadcasting down there. It says live. Click the Brave browser one, and this is the left option. Oh, nope, there it is. There's a delay.
I mean, technical difficulties. Anthony really
Okay, it's not a real live stream until we say it's technical difficulties on our live stream.
Technical difficulties, number 2.
There's a delay, that's what we get every time. So, what we were saying is we're doing Eldar today. Craft World Eldar. We're not doing Ynnari. We're not doing the clowns, the space clowns. We will maybe get to that in the future if you guys want to see that. But we're not doing that today. So let's get to it.
Just vanilla space elves.
Anything you want to say about the space elves since you've played them so much and competitively, and you've had a chance to play against a lot of this stuff?
I really see a lot of the same units over and over again, so this tier list will let me see where other units are. Like, I really don't usually see Wraithknights. I don't really see Dark Reapers. I want to see where you would put them on this list. I'm interested in seeing, because all I see are Dire Avengers, a lot of Farseers, especially on jet bikes. Baharroth is on every single battlefield at once.
He's everywhere, and he's one of the best Phoenix Lords. He is the best Phoenix Lord. We'll get into that. We'll also get into why you don't see certain things anymore. And and honestly, a lot of people always ask me, because I play Eldar, why do I always see the same HQ? Why do I always see the same HQ? Every Eldar player, no matter what they play, they see the same HQ. You're gonna see why in a couple minutes here. Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z. No, you're gonna find out right now exactly why that is. But let's start with maybe one that not everybody takes, but he's really badass looking. The Avatar.
Oh, big boy.
Have you played against him yet?
No. Out of all the games I've played, never seen the Avatar once.
He's super strong. He's super tough. He can delete anything on the board.
Wow.
He's just, for what he does, he's not that expensive. He's pretty expensive, but he's such he's just like a big, he's a beat stick, and he's going to take out anything you need on the board.
He has the Primarch stat line.
He does.
14 wounds.
He will give Mortarion and Magnus a run for their money for sure. Doesn't have any, psychic abilities, but hitting wise, he's going to hit as hard as anybody in the game. He's still not going to be a guy you take in a tournament. You're not going to see him at a tournament every game. You're not going to see him in every army. That's why I have him ranked right below. If you want to rank that for me, he is in. I take him as. I think he's a strong take.
Okay.
Some people might say situational. I have him strong.
Okay. Based on other characters I've seen, I usually see, like, for example, other Primarchs. They usually are. They're the same situation, right? You don't always need to take them. Like, sometimes you want to take them for a very, it has to be based around this model. He doesn't fit with the way Eldar play. Basically, it's like you have to take a specific style. Basically, if you're going to play with the Avatar, it's more of a combat style. It's not going to be. I mean, you can play with some, shenanigans and shooting, but if you take the Avatar, it's going to be a different type of Eldar list than you used to seeing. It's more going to be. I'm going to be up in your face with. It's no surprises, no nothing. I'm going to be up in your face.
Children of Khaine. You want to do the extra damage. You're going to be taking the Banshees for sure. Maybe 2 units. It's a different style in general, but not something you wouldn't see at a tournament. You're going to see him once in a while. To our next unit, Farseer Skyrunner on the bike, one of the best units in the game. I don't think anybody needs me to say it's a tournament staple, because you see him at every tournament. At least one.
Every game I've seen at the tournament, that thing was there. This model was there, usually like 2, if not more.
Yeah, I mean, it's a Farseer with speed. And 16 inches, you can, like you said, you can always go that extra 6 if you need to. More importantly, you can make him get to a position you exactly want to put a smite on, or if you want to put like a doom on. Like, I put doom on my Farseer on a bike because I want to doom a specific unit I need, and I want that. You're not going to get there every time with a guy on foot. You need that speed
to get anywhere you want on the board and just doom that target. If you need to smite, it's a great opportunity as well. And you know what I like to take with my Farseer on a bike, and it's really annoying.
The Kurnus bow.
The Kurnus bow, and I couple that with the Mark of the Incomparable Hunter, and a lot of people do this. It's super, super strong. You can watch that. If you want to see how strong that is, we did a battle report, live stream battle report, I think it was a week ago. It was Anthony and I, and I did use it in that game a few times. And then we have a battle report coming out. It's going to be in a bit, but that's going to be on the Monday night matchup where I used it again. It's super strong. It does mortal wounds. The actions ends, but you do one mortal wound on a wound. This is strength 6, right? And when you do the combo with the Warlord trait, and it's doing a mortal wound on a regular wound, and then once you roll a 6, it's 2 mortal wounds. So your fate dice, if you have a few 5s there, that's auto 2, 4, if you get lucky, 6 mortal wounds, and you've seen me do that before, walk up to a unit, 6 mortal wounds from a gun.
It is a bit dicey though, like, pardon the pun, with the Strands of Fate, because you could end up with, even with all the rerolls you get from all the Farseers, not a single 5. Like we had that in the situation, right?
Yep.
You could maybe only deal, 1 or 2 mortal wounds, but you can also spike hard, and it's very easy to get the 6, and that 6 will delete something, or delete a unit of single wound models.
It's only CP. I mean, only CP, and Nephilim, it's really, CP is a lot more important, but you're paying 2 CP to, it's gonna pay for itself. Like especially if he's around for 5 turns, you're doing those mortal wounds every turn, it adds up. And if you get a turn where you get those 6, it's all the better than, What's up, Anthony?
So there's just one comment asking,
Yep.
can you take on Abaddon?
Pardon me?
The Avatar, can you take on Abaddon?
Of course. Well, Abaddon you can only do so much damage to Abaddon. So you're not gonna be able to kill him in 1 turn, but of course, he can take on Abaddon for sure. But he's gonna be getting hit pretty hard back. So it comes down to, it's a dice game, right? So if Abaddon hits really hard, can Abaddon take down a 14 wound model in 1 turn? Probably, maybe. So it's a good fight. I would love to see that. Let's get the dice hammer going. Start rolling the odds out. He can definitely kill Abaddon. It's not going to be in 1 turn because you can't kill Abaddon in 1 turn. I definitely would say Abaddon's stronger than the Avatar of Khaine, but he's not Abaddon. Abaddon's a different type of character. Like, you're not going to use Abaddon the way you would use the Avatar of Khaine. He's like, delete this area. Abaddon's more like, buff all my units, let's move up, control the side of the board, keep everybody away. People are going to come and target this. Don't think it's like it's going to be a big target on its back. When you slam this puppy on the board, everybody's going to be like, kill that right away before it gets any closer. So to answer your question, Abaddon and him would be a great match, and he could probably kill him. You have to get a little lucky, make sure Abaddon doesn't kill him in the first turn of battle, though. But going on to the Farseer, you want to say something?
Oh yeah, anything that has Psyker and also is on jet bikes. So not only the Farseer Skyrunner, but I'm going to get ahead of myself, but the Warlock is very good for doing Psychic Ritual or Warp Ritual.
Yeah.
I've seen players in a tournament run the Farseer up, do these Warp Ritual, and then there's a Psychic Power that allows Eldar to basically move back into move again. So I can see a Farseer Skyrunner move on to the middle objective, do Warp Ritual, and then just disappear. You can do that for 2-3 turns. It's a very easy Warp Ritual. Prevents your opponent from getting things like Interrogation or Assassinate. It's just a very annoying unit to deal with. And I think that's why this unit not only is really killy if you get it outright, but overall, generally, as a unit itself, has a lot of utility that can be used on
it's so good. It's really good. It's an auto take. You need to take at least one of these guys, a Farseer Skyrunner in your list. If it's tournament list, 100%. So tournament standard.
I think I agree with you. It's up there.
Absolutely. Let's go on to the named boy, Eldrad.
The old man of the house.
The old man. Again, he's a Farseer. He's like, is it like taking 2 Farseers with him? Maybe a Farseer in a bit, Farseer and a half, 1.5 Farseers. He gets an extra cast. He's really good.
He's tanky.
He is, and the toughness 4 is nice on Eldar, as you know, like that 3 toughness. The toughness 3 is brutal. That's why I love the bikes. They get you back into that regular toughness. Eldrad has that already built in. The only difference is some of the buffs he has are for Ulthway, and if you're not taking Ulthway, he's not a tournament staple. So I want to say he's really strong because he is for Ulthway. He's definitely not a tournament standard because you're not going to see him in every list because most lists are going to be right now far-flung lists, which mean people making their own army traits. So they're going to be taking Hail of Doom because it's still super strong, even though you only just take that without anything else. But if you're not going to take Hail of Doom, Ulthway is probably the next one up, right? So he's going to be in Ulthway lists for sure. I want to say situational, but he's definitely a strong take. What do you think on that?
Typically named characters, I really don't know too much about Ulthway or Eldrad, but I do see he has 3 casts, which is very good.
It's better than a Farseer, yeah.
A Psyker, right? And you know the match psychic shenanigans that Eldar can do. I think the only thing really holding him back is he's Ulthway, right? You can't like take him all over the place.
Right.
I do agree, like situational.
Situational or strong. I have him in between there. If you're Ulthway, definitely strong to tournament. If you're not, situational to strong. So you want to just put him in between and say he's a strong take? Put him ahead of the Avatar?
Sure.
Okay.
Let's put the, we want to put the old man above over here?
Yeah, put him ahead of the Avatar because he is more of a, you're going to take him more. He's a caster. You know, I mean, you want that for your Eldar. Going into the Farseer, again.
Oh no.
Cheaper than a Skyrunner. We just talked about, they can take everything a Skyrunner can take. Only difference is T3, on foot, but you don't need to have all your casters on a bike. Like I said, you have that one mobile caster that's going out casting your Doom where you need it, where you want to target, and then everybody else just hide behind your Dire Avengers, hide behind your units, and buff them up, cast some smites, do your psychic ritual in the middle of the board there, keep getting that every turn, you only need to do it 3 times. And then there's the whole strat that you want to deny people from doing psychic stuff in this edition. So having an extra Farseer there to just stop people from casting psychic interrogation or whatever is great. But you don't take them for that solely. So I'm going to say because they're cheaper, they're on par with the biker guy. I think you always take one of these guys, tournament standard as well. I'm going to put them, because you're going to see more of these, you're going to see probably 2 of them. Let's put them at the top of tournament standard.
So above
That's
the
what I
Skyrunner.
think, yeah.
Okay.
What do you think?
I do agree that he can take more of them, I guess. More utility, more casts.
Yep.
Like, how much is I'm pretty sure they're going to be almost double the cost for the Skyrunner. Like,
I think 120 and then the other one's 90 now. So it's 30 more points.
okay, so 30 more points means
They did get a little increase in points, yeah.
yeah. So 30 more points. Like, if you can find a way to like squeeze it out, maybe a second Farseer, 2 for the price of the Skyrunner.
Yeah.
And all you need to do is just a lot of buffs. If you know how to play properly, position properly, the 7-inch movement that Eldar usually have, they can be all over the place, start casting left and right.
You can run, you can advance. So.
And then the most important thing is for denial. If you are fighting against an army that has lots of psychers, you can keep spread them out. Have more control, more zones of control where you deny people's powers.
Yep.
So you want to put him...
I want to put him, I actually put him at the top because he's cheaper and you're going to see more of them in tournaments. So I think they belong there. On to the next one, that is an Autarch. So they're pretty good. When you look at their stats, they're all right. They don't do anything particularly like crazy for, there's nothing... They don't fit with what Eldar do right now, in my opinion. It's like they're not really needed. The Banshee Mask, you can take a Banshee Mask. That's great. You can't take the Banshee Mask on an Autarch on a bike.
Really?
Which is weird. I guess they give you the bike, is like, that's your upgrade. That's all you get. Nothing else. For me, Autarchs are like very, very, very situational on your build, and you're not going to see them at tournaments, I don't think, unless it's like just a one-off list. It's not going to be a successful list if they have Autarchs in their list. So, and it's definitely not strong. So I think situational is where they belong. What do you think?
Well, these guys are basically the captains for Eldar, right? They have the whole reroll 1 thing.
Exactly.
I do like the ability where he has the superlative strategist. Basically, you get 2 CP rerolls.
Yeah.
I mean, but you have all the Strands of Fate dice, so
Strands of Fate,
do see him being useful some places because, like, once again, you got reroll 1s. The only thing is, you can only cast, the guide, I think? The reroll everything on 1 unit per turn, right?
Yeah.
So it might sometimes be good to have another area to have
two
reroll
rolls.
ones.
Yeah.
But I do see where you're saying. At that point, maybe I'd rather just take him on a Skyrunner just to be able to keep up with people rather than paying the points for something cool such as the Warp Field Generator or give him like wings. He is very good in combat. Like
he is. He does
he's
damage.
worth.
Yeah, he hits hard.
So I think he's a fluffy choice. He's like you can kit him out to whatever you want. Like he's the Space Marine captain for Eldar. Like,
Exactly.
Enjoy playing with him. Enjoy thinking of cool strategies and combos with him. Is what I'd say.
So situational.
Yeah.
I think he's situational. Yeah.
It's difficult when he's so many options though.
And we have the Autarch with wings. It's the same unit. It's just upgrade. I think gives him a little more mobility. You're paying for that. With this unit, you don't want to pay too much, I don't think, to take him. If you're going to take it, just take a base, like or you said. If you want to just bring him around to get the buffs, go for the guy on the bike. But where do you think with the wings? Maybe put it underneath because it's just more expensive. Maybe situational, a little cheaper.
I like it. It's just faster though.
You like the speed. Speed kills right now.
For Eldar, it's all about mobility, repositioning, and just playing mind games. Battle focus, it's battle focus, right? You want to have that battle focus, but is it? I don't really know.
3 up, 4 up. I mean, he's pretty durable for an Eldar unit, especially a character.
He's still toughness 3 though.
T3, yep.
And it's really, if you want to get him to combat, he's got to fight first. Otherwise, he's going to get mulched.
So you want to put the wings ahead because just a little more mobility, get him around where you need him, because that's what you're going to be doing with this is getting him the rerolls. Yeah. So let's put that top of situational for if you want to take wings with him. And moving on to Yandin's boy,
Uriel.
Prince Uriel.
Ooh, very cool guy.
What do you think? Have you played against him? I know our friend Romel has a couple models of him, some old ones too.
I have not played against Prince Uriel. I know he has a cool eye patch and he's basically a pirate.
He's not a good choice.
No?
Well, unless you're taking Yandin, and if you want to bring him in for Yandin, but you don't see him in lists. You just don't see him in lists. There's so many other, look at the things we're talking about in the top here, like Farseers, I'd rather take all 3 of those top 3 choices right now, including Khaine over him.
From what I'm looking at, he's basically just an Autarch for a
Reroll
Yandin.
ones, yeah.
And I do see that he
If
has...
you're not Yandin, though, you don't get that.
Yeah. I do see he has that one cool thing where if you can put Yandin infantry and Corsairs, I don't know how to say that word, into reserve for half the cost.
Yep.
So.
But you have to be using them, so very situational. Bad choice. He's a bad choice.
He's trying to pull off the Webway Gate. Webway Gate as an infantry model.
Exactly. Let's put him there. And then the Autarch with the Skyrunner, we said, I think, you can't take the mask on him. If you give him the mask, that'd be great because, it's just better. Why can't this guy get his upgrades?
It's because this kit is new.
You think that's what it is?
That's what it is.
Okay.
That's why they won't let you put these options here because it's a different kit.
Well, wouldn't you want to do that if you're GW? Because then I have to buy 2 models to make 1 model.
If I was GW, yes, I would.
Exactly.
But
I've heard that you're not the first person that said that. That's why my eyes lit up because a lot of people say, the reason why the stats are like that is because the kit just doesn't come with it and they don't want to rewrite the stats for him.
On off tangent, you know the story that when they released the new Autarch kit, initially they didn't have the rules where you could mix and match them.
Yeah.
GW had to release a quick fix, as a data sheet, so you can mix them together. Because people were asking, why do I have 2 different kits but I can't put them together? I want a warp field generator on this other model. So they listened.
So because of that, he's don't take for me.
Don't take?
Don't take him.
I like bikes.
Don't take him. There's lots of bikes in here you'll like. This is not one you should take.
Okay.
Where do you have him?
I'd probably put him in the same situational. It's a bike.
Really?
It's a bike guy. Yeah. Considering if you're playing an army that's fast and mobile such as Eldar, you want to keep up. Though I guess of course if you have these 2 guys already.
No, he's definitely not you think he's situational?
Maybe bad choice.
And he's a lot more expensive because you're paying for that bike. Well, maybe not a lot more, but you gotta check let me just check the points on that. That's gonna change my my choice otherwise.
I have a bias for bikes and a bias for fast.
I just don't think
moving
he's the
units.
bike to take. Like, he's not the guy you want to take.
Of course. You got the Farseer on a bike. You got Warlocks on bikes. There's so many other options.
He's 20 points more. He's 20 points more, and he gets no upgrades. So if you want to upgrade, mix and match stuff, you can't do any of it.
He has a laser
You can
lance.
give him a laser lance. Yeah.
And you can take a fusion gun or a Banshee blade, but... Anyways, I'd probably put him as a bad choice, in my opinion.
So don't take?
You're the Eldar expert.
Okay, let's go bad choice. I'm good with the bad choice. That's fine.
We'll put him at the end of bad choice. I mean,
That's fine. He can stay right at the end, like towing the line. Ask another Phoenix Lord.
Azurman.
What do you think of Azurman?
Dire Avenger dude. Keeping with Dire Avengers, he has that, a 3-up invuln save, which is extremely rare in this edition.
He's beefy. He's got a 2-up regular save.
Ooh.
Yep. He is T4.
I only like the fact that he really helps buff Dire Avengers, whether they come out of Web Strike or from a transport. He's there, gives them OBSEC, and Dire Avengers are already good at actions. They basically are like super buff guardians.
Yeah.
I think having him around with,
Just for the OBSEC?
OBSEC is important.
Yeah, but you can give Dire Avengers OBSEC.
Oh yeah, from a spell, true.
And you can do Stand Firm.
Stand Firm is, I'm guessing, a stratagem that allows him to become OBSEC?
No, it's a Exarch. Sorry, it's an Exarch power. So you give him Stand Firm. Is Stand Firm an Exarch power or the Relic?
I'm coming from Custodies where
There's so many things.
Custodians got their OBSEC taken away from them for a lot of the infantry.
Anthony, can you look up
So-
Stand Firm? Is it a Relic or is it the Exarch power? But either way, there's Stand Firm and then there's the spell. So you can cast a spell, make them, but I mean, Dire Avengers, they're gonna be all over the place. You can't make them all OBSEC. Even with Asherman, you can't make them all OBSEC.
I guess you're right, but just having the ability to give OBSEC is such
Yeah.
a good tool.
Is that the only reason you would take him?
I think that would really be the only reason.
Like his gun is good. His sword is it hits pretty hard. He Stand Firm.
Stratagem or relic?
Is it a relic or is it one of the Exarch powers? I can look through here really quickly, but it's going to be annoying to see me reading.
I just like anything that really gives OBSEC, and Dire Avengers are very nasty.
Yeah, Dire Avengers are great. We're going to get to those guys in a bit.
But you're right, if I'm paying that much for Dire Avengers, for a character that just buffs Dire Avengers, when Dire Avengers themselves just kill everything.
No, it's not. It's going to be the Exarch power because it's not the relic that the unit can take. So the Exarch can take Stand Firm, and then they'd be one unit could be AppSec. So my ranking for this guy is not good. He's not. There's just better Phoenix Lords.
Okay.
I just don't think he's good. I think he's a bad choice. Do you disagree? You're not going to see him in tournament lists.
No.
He's not strong. He could be situational for some people, just because what you were saying, like some people really want to put things and make them OPSEC, maybe, but beyond that, I don't think he's a good choice.
I'm going to agree with you on that, considering there's only one Phoenix Lord that I ever see, and he's coming up right next.
Baharroth, do you want to just stop wasting our time and just put him right at the top of the list there?
All right, King Baharroth, B-Boy is up here.
If you play against Eldar and he's not in their list, something's up. They're trying something out, or how can you not take Baharroth? And one thing about him, he's great at clearing backlines. Not only can you attack big guys and just like hit them and then run away, you can go into the backfield, shoot up a bunch of like units on an objective, shoot them, attack them, and blink away, or go to the other side and take out more. He's such a headache. He's so good. He's so broken.
He's deceptively tanky. I just noticed now he actually has a 2-up save.
He does. Yeah.
He has toughness 4, which is not that bad,
Yeah.
but he can only take 3 wounds of face.
He can.
So unless you're really lucky with psychic powers, or a lucky dreadnought explodes on him, dealing 3 mortal wounds, killing him in 1 turn is a daunting task.
You can't. If you position him properly, you should not even be scratching him. Yeah. So if you don't know how Baharroth works, he can shoot. His gun is great. He auto wounds on 6s, I believe. Yeah, because his gun basically works like a swooping hawk. Close combat, 6s explode, does 2 damage each, -3. So good. 6 attacks, exploding 6s. So, and the big thing about him is before he consolidates, he can just jump away and go somewhere else. If he feels he's in danger, he's gone 9 inches away from somebody else, and you can hide him again.
I'm happy that my first bat rep against Eldar, I killed Baharroth.
So you see the way I use him sometimes, right?
Yep.
A really good way to use Baharroth, if people don't do this, is, like I said, go into those small units in the back. It might sound like a waste, but putting them on those units that you just see, like you did against with those 3 custodes, going back there with Baharroth, killing 1 or 2 a turn, and then blinking away, coming back, it does a lot, because you were focused on that side of the board. I can remove you from that side with 1 character. It's huge.
Ah, I see.
And yeah, if you want to put him into a big model to deal like 5 wounds or whatever you need to per turn, you can do that as well. He's so broken, he's the top of the list. You're going to see him in every tournament list for sure.
I'm not going to disagree.
Okay, somebody you might not see is this dude.
Literally who? Who's that?
Who is this man?
I see he has like a pincer head and a big gun. I'm assuming
Hugin.
that's Fire Dragon Exarch or Phoenix Lord.
He's a Phoenix Lord, yeah. Again, because you see how good Baharroth, now you see where my standard is for measuring Phoenix Lords. He's don't take. Like, why are you so much worse than that?
It's also for a unit. He buffs only what, Fire Dragons?
Fire Dragons, which are not a good unit. Like, people don't take them. You're not going to take Fire Dragons. I mean, maybe you will, maybe you might, but they're not top tier. We're going to get to that as well. And if you're taking Fire Dragons, you can take them. That's a lot of points you're putting into that 1 unit. They're basically like Meltas. I don't think they need a buff. Like, I don't think they need this guy. I don't think you need to spend those points to buff Fire Dragons, which are, underwhelming unit to begin with.
I'm assuming this guy is more expensive than Baharroth. He's slower. He is tankier.
He's
but
slightly more expensive, yeah.
he's really only good. He has a very strong lance weapon, but
Of course,
it's only
yeah.
1 shot.
It's 1 shot, yeah.
If anyone who's played with the, the Vindicare, 1 shot is very hit or miss, even if it's hitting on 2s and winning on 2s.
And comparing him to Baharroth, like the difference, if you're going to take 1 Phoenix Lord, like, are you even going to think?
I'm going to take Baharroth.
Exactly. So that alone, he's below situational. He's bad choice. I say don't even take him at all, because Fire Dragons, you don't see them right now.
Yep.
If a buff comes out for them, you might start seeing maybe situational, but right now he's like,
I don't know. He's a bit too slow for my tastes.
Absolutely.
Compared to any other Phoenix Lord that's, I mean, we'll talk about her now. The next fastest Phoenix Lord, I think, right? Jane Zar?
Yeah, Jane Zar's, I love Banshees, so I'm going to be a little bit biased, and I play probably a bigger unit of Banshees than you'll normally see in a tournament. Most people bring 5. I've seen some people bring 2 units of 5. I bring a big 10-man blob, so yeah, Jane Zar would probably work good. I don't take her in my list, but she is not, she's not that bad. She hits decently hard, not as hard as other Phoenix Lords, but makes you fight last. She does something else for the Banshees. You can't, where is it? Subtract 1 from the attacks and get, oh yeah, that's like, it's huge.
Banshees always have that. But its main thing is this, subtract 1 from the attack characteristics.
For a character to have that built in is pretty crazy. She's good. She's a strong take, in my opinion. You're not going to see her in every tournament list, so she's situational in that regard. It's just, people don't play Eldar in your face like that. Not everybody plays them like that. Like, I like the in your face, but you're not going to see her in a lot of lists because of that.
I can see her more of as a sort of like the zoning scare character. Keep him behind your lines. If your opponent decides to charge, you're going to have to deal with Jane Zar, who's going to be a very big pain in the butt. Like, -1 attack. She herself has a very nice stat line, and she's, I think, not as expensive as
She's an
others.
Exarch. She's a Banshee Exarch.
Phoenix Lord.
No, but she hit, like, did you see the Exarch you can make now for Banshees?
Of course.
They hit pretty hard. You don't even need Jane Zar, so I'd say for that, she's strong. She's a strong character for sure. But let's just put her at the bottom of strong. I want to say situational, but let's say at the bottom of strong. What do you say?
She's probably gonna.
What say you?
She has utilities,
She does.
so I'm gonna keep her at strong.
Yeah.
Like I think you can probably make a list with not even taking
damage.
banshees. Like
She got 2 profiles. She can hit hard, decently hard. Yeah. I think she's fine there. I think
keep her
she's
there.
good.
I mean, if you don't want to take banshees, you can still take her.
Yeah.
She's like a not banshee.
Here's a not bad Phoenix Lord. And you do see striking scorpions, so it's actually usable. And I don't know. The only thing is, like I said, if you're going to be taking Farseers, you're taking a bunch of Farseers. You're like my list has 3 Farseers. You take Baharroth as well. Is there room for anybody else? Like does anybody else really a tournament at that point? Is anybody else a tournament standard? It's either strong or situational at best.
True.
So for what they can do for striking scorpions, if you want to take a unit of striking scorpions, they can do a lot of damage for you especially if you want to get in the units an army's backfield. But do you need to have him?
I've seen Karandras played at the last tournament, right? TGX. The last Eldar player had Karandras. He's scary. He can get in your face even turn 1. I got charged by a unit of striking scorpions. I think it was 10-man.
Yep.
And Karandras. Unfortunately, he didn't roll lucky, so he couldn't get a lot of mortal wounds off with the Manda Blasters. But I believe if you get really lucky, if you do roll high and you get a lot of attacks in, and you target the right units, they can be a very big threat. Tanky as hell too. 2+ save, toughness 4. He just buffs them.
Let's say situational.
I think situational.
I think it's a situational take. It just depends. If you like using striking scorpions, and Baharroth, you don't like the Baharroth shenanigans, or you want to take one less Farseer, then yeah, go with your striking scorpion buff.
The trend I'm seeing is what depends on if you're focusing on the certain aspect warrior, right? Banshees, you're gonna go, of course, Janzar. Swooping Hawks, you're gonna go with Baharroth. If your army is really going into striking scorpions, you're gonna have Karandras.
Yeah.
And if you do see that rare fire dragon list, you're gonna have, of course, Fugue.
Will you though?
But even then, he's like, like the fire dragons are most likely gonna be.
They're just like an off unit.
Yeah, we'll talk about that after.
We'll talk about it later. But for him, let's just say situational. Bottom is situational there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So hopefully it doesn't mean that striking scorpions are situational.
Magna Ra.
Who?
Sniper.
Oh, Mr.
Magna Ra.
Mr. Grim Reaper.
Yeah. Listen, it's very mixed with him. When I talk to people, there's people that hate him and they think he's like useless for what Eldar do, and there's people that love him. I think he falls like in the middle of that, to be that centrist here. But he's very, like, you can't interact with him. He's so far away, right? He's sniping from so far away. His gun is not like, the mortal wounds are nice, but assault 6, he's getting a good amount of shots. He's 36 inches away from you at all times. He's going to be, you can't engage with him really, unless you go and try to kill him. And what's the point of even doing that? And look in close combat, he has 6 attacks. He can shred Space Marines as well. So you're not going to like put a unit of like Vanguards to go and get him because they're going to get hurt really bad. And yeah.
If only he was an aspect warrior. A Phoenix Lord. I'm getting my terms mixed up. Sit in the back line, I guess shooting, that makes fine sense.
Yep.
The only thing I can say is when you're saying that you don't want interaction, Eldar is basically full of I don't want to interact with you.
Yeah, that's
battle
the whole army.
focus. Charging a melee unit into something that's shooting is it's not too hard with Eldar. So you can basically take away the interaction or force your opponent to take bad interactions. That's why I do sort of see like why people would not want Mog and Ra, considering, what does he have? Just sit in the back and just pop shots?
He's nothing special. I would say at best situational if you want to put him in the middle there, but I think he's a bad choice.
I have not seen him once, so I'm probably just going to go with my gut feeling.
Bad choice?
He's not that great. Maybe
I wouldn't say, like, honestly, if you want to put him in a situation at the bottom, I'd be like, okay. If you want to put him in bad choice, I'm good with that because I think he is not going to be seen at tournaments, so it doesn't really matter.
I think he's probably better than Iriel, right? Or this guy here, whoever this guy is.
Yeah. You can use him in more situations than him, yeah, for sure. On to the Ranger over here.
Another sniper character.
Yeah.
So what does he do?
Eldar, man. So, again, do you take Rangers? Have you played Rangers recently?
I've seen people play with Rangers. Like, it's not as frequent as, just Guardians.
Yep.
But I do see it once in a while. Good for forward deploying, Like,
So, it's fine, but, like, look at his gun. Just read it. I don't know if you've read this.
So it's damage 3 on a sniper rifle. That's pretty good.
It's not bad, but look at the full profile.
No, yeah, it's inflict D3 mortal wounds on a 4+.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Exactly. So if you need that unit that has those couple of guys left, hit it. And if you want to target a character, he can do some damage for you. But in comparison with what we have here, like I said again, going back to that, where does he fit? Where does he fit?
He's a light talk only also.
Yeah, he's Autarch, yeah.
Let's see.
He's the Autarch main boy. I have him as don't take.
Maybe if Necron's getting resurgence, maybe he'll be better. Bringer of the true death against Necrons.
He's very, very, very situational. Like bad take, don't take even.
He also doesn't have an invuln.
No.
So on that 4-up, it can
He has a cloak. I mean, he gets a bonus, but not enough.
A 4+ on a character with no invuln. That's
Yeah, and cover. He would get +2, so he'd be at 2-up no matter what.
But once if you get into combat,
Oh, he's dead. Yeah, but he has a 48-inch range. You shouldn't be getting close to anybody. Let's put him at don't take.
yeah, I don't see much.
I don't see any use for him right now, in the way the codex is. Coming back to another bad choice, I think, Spirit Seers.
It's a seer though.
But they're not Farseers.
Ah, I see.
This is what they are. They're Warlocks. They're 2 Warlocks in 1.
Wait, are these guys an HQ choice as well?
They are, yeah.
Oh my goodness. Dude, that is really tight.
They have 4-up invuln. They reroll a wound roll of 1.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice. They're lieutenants.
That's only for Spirit Host.
Oh, is it?
Wouldn't Spirit Hosts are Wraith, isn't it?
That's right.
Am I getting that right? Wraith are the only Spirit Hosts. Let me double check before I
The Anunnaks.
let me check it before I get fact checked.
So,
Yeah, Spirit Hosts.
yeah, he does. He gives rerolls for wounds for them.
So I'd say unless you're taking a whole Wraith army,
If you're doing a Wraith army, yeah,
There's
for sure, take multiple of them even.
yeah, Wraith or bust on this character. Like,
And who's running Wraith right now? And people say that Wraith armies are pretty decent. I haven't seen any.
I've seen one.
Have you?
First game of TGX.
Yeah? Wraith army?
Not Wraith Army, but they had a unit of Wraith Blades, like 5 dudes. You keep buffing them up with psychic powers, like +1 to the armor save, 5 feel no pain.
Yeah.
These things are like toughness 6 or something like that. They're really
Yeah.
tough. So they're going to be marching on to the middle, sitting on objective. But he didn't have a Spirit Seer with him, so he didn't really care about that because
You
that
don't need
unit
to.
is just there for holding the objective
Yeah.
and scaring you off.
Yeah. Those are not Wraith. It's a different unit. It's a close combat unit. But, yeah, you just don't see them and you don't need them. Farseers can do your job for you.
I think even the reroll 1s to wound, you don't really need it.
And the big thing for me is that
Only 1 psychic power?
only 1 psychic power. So he's
Done. I think
not for me.
don't take.
No. Don't take a Spirit Seer.
Get over there.
Don't take one, please. They're not needed. Okay, that's it for. Is that it for? We got through that fast.
That's HQs?
That's all for HQs. Well, for craft rolled HQs, yeah.
16 HQs.
Okay, so you see, it's pretty spread out there. That's pretty even. That's like, it's pretty balanced. Like, that's it.
When you tell me that the Avatar of Khaine is an HQ, wow, that is a very threatening and big HQ.
Yes, he is. Okay, Guardian Defenders. The Guardians, I like them. I like one unit of Guardians just to keep on the back, screen out. They can like the reason why Rangers, in my opinion, are better. They're cheaper, or are they? Are they a little bit cheaper, maybe? Or the same price for less models.
Yeah, that's the point. Like you can take 5 models.
5 of those and then 10 of those. Obviously, they're snipers. They're not. But we're talking about defenders right now. I like them more because, like I said, you can screen out with them. All you need is one unit of them. Even I've seen people take them with the web gate, and I've seen people put them in reserve, bring in late, and just take over the middle with them. You know, as like everything's happening around, and then you just bring them on an objective late, and they're annoying, and you put them in cover and buff them up, give them like +1 to their armor save, which you don't have to, but they're just annoying like that. And I like one unit of them, and that for that, I have them in strong. I have them as a strong take, just because they're so cheap too, and you get 10 models. If you want to take even two 10-mans would be great. Don't take 20-man though. Don't go for 20.
I see.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
Just not worth it.
All right, I'll put them in strong.
Would you disagree? You see them around? You know what they can do.
You're the only player I've seen that takes
them?
Guardians.
Really?
Yeah, everyone else I've seen just takes Rangers. Cheaper and forward deploy, which is very integral, especially in Nephilim with CPs and all that. Just put them onto objectives or put them near the objective.
Yeah.
Turn 2.
Rangers are great. Yeah, Rangers are great. We're getting to Rangers next, and they're strong. They're strong.
Strong.
They're not. They're not. Put them at the bottom of that. Put them after Jane Czar.
You got to give the HQs the benefit.
Yeah, right now
Awesome.
they're still. You can't really compare them, but you can't compare like, oh, I'm not going to take Jane Czar because I'm going to take a defender. But I think that ranking's fair. Rangers, definitely a tournament standard. On the other hand, all the reasons we talked about, they do mortal wounds on 6s. They can snipe characters. You can hide them. You can put them in cover. They have the cloaks. They're just great, and they're cheap, and you can hide them. They're great, and you can screen with them too.
They're exactly what scouts used to be.
Yeah.
Same reason why people always used to take scouts before they were moved to elites is what you find in Rangers. So if you're a Space Marine player, you know Rangers.
Yeah. And Fate Dice going back into that swingy mentality, but if you roll those auto wounds, they might be a unit you want to throw them on. Do those mortal wounds, those automatic mortal wounds on a 6 to wound. Right?
Lucky guys, you're lucky with that.
Let me shoot that character and do some automatic mortal wounds. Wouldn't that be nice?
I wish everyone could be Eldar. I want Strands of Fate Dice for Space Marines. Let's get that next.
So they're definitely tournament standards. I would put them at the bottom there though too, because those guys are all better, definitely better. And Storm Guardians, do I need to waste time on this? Bad choice.
Bad choice?
Close combat, they're not as good as defenders. They have close combat weapons. Do you need to go and do you need that with these guys?
Why not just put them into the don't take tier with the Spirit Seer?
Put them into don't take. Okay, let's drop them to the bottom.
Hey.
Why take that when we have a better choice?
Hey.
Yep.
If Rangers are a must-take and Guardians are not, why do you take Guardians?
Because the way I play, you guys can agree with that. I play a lot of people. If you watch on the channel, will see me play, and they even at tournaments will be like, "What the hell? I've never seen an Eldar player play like that." I'm very super aggressive. I don't care about hiding. I don't want to hide with my list. I want you to target my bikes. And if you watch if you watch our battle report, you'll see exactly what I do. I play Shining Spears, so you don't see them a lot. They're pretty good. A lot of people rank them decently high, but nobody takes Shining Spears. I spam Shining Spears. So my list is very unorthodox. That's why I take I don't take the Rangers. I take the Defenders, and I also like to screen backfields because if you've been to a tournament, a lot of people like to come from behind and do some shenanigans from there. So I think the more you can screen your backfield and give yourself that ability to screen things out is always a plus in my books. 5 models is really, really, really hard to screen an entire backfield unless you're playing like, what's it called, quarters, where you're playing like the middle. That's a little bit easier to do, but still, 10 is always better than 5.
But I mean, you can always just take more Rangers. You can take like, you know.
But then you got to pay double the cost.
Is it? It's the same, isn't it?
No, because to get 10 of these guys, it's the same price to get 5 of these.
Yeah, but just have them. You can spread them out more. Like start moving them all around.
But the whole point of
cover
taking
more areas.
Rangers is like spreading out and shooting from different objectives, putting them on different objectives, forward deploying. It's a different style.
I mean, Rangers can do the same thing, except a little bit more utility. If you know, deploy. If you want to like screen someone out turn 2 from deep striking, you can be like forward deploy them like a couple inches out of your deployment zone.
I also use the web gate, and like I said, that strategy, I believe, on third turn, when your army's spread out, and I dump 10 of these guys in the middle of the board behind a building, it's annoying. And people have to come back, especially when you play Nids, when they were spamming Mortals. Now it's Necrons. They gotta come back, and they can't focus one part of the board, and then I have so much speed that it's overwhelming by that point. So that's one of the strategies. I give away one of my LVO strats. I'm not the only one that does that though, so you're going to see that. You're going to see that at tournaments as well. Bringing in Guardians to just take an objective at the end of the game there.
Okay.
But yeah, there's reasons why. But it is weird. Like, why don't you take those guys if they're so good? I don't need them. I really don't need them for my style of play. That's why. Okay, so we've done those guys. Corsairs.
What do they do?
What do they do?
What do they do?
They do stuff if you're Corsairs. Here's a funny thing. The Corsair elites are actually a pretty good unit. They're a very good unit. And while their troop choice is like, I would just put it in don't take and not even go through it. If you don't believe me, read their stuff. At this point, you might as well, there's so many better troop choices. Like I said, the Rangers before them 1,000 times. As well as defenders. I would take defenders over them. They're just don't take them. But jumping into the elites, because we don't have another marker for the elite ones. Should we put them? How should we mark that, Anthony? Because we don't have. They have two. They actually have 2 units.
Not on GW's website.
On their website.
It's a split kit. That's why.
It's split.
Dual
Yeah.
kit. You're not looking hard enough.
But there are other dual kits. They have both on the website, like the Manticore and Death Striker.
We'll address it like that. We'll just leave that. We'll leave that there. But their elite choice is actually like situational. They're pretty good. Like you see what they can do, all the upgrades they have. Channeling stones. Look at that. So not a lot of people are going to take them. You're not going to see them at tournaments, for sure. But they're situational. You can put them up in situational.
I have seen.
Depending on your build.
I've watched a couple of big tournaments before. I have seen those Corsairs been used though.
You have?
Yeah, Brad Chester, I believe.
Brad Chester used Corsairs?
He used
Wow.
Corsairs. Yeah, he was playing against an Eldar Nids player. I saw his list had.
Was
like,
it an actual tournament or was it like a stream?
It was on the finals.
What?
Of tournaments. Yeah, it was streamed, but it was like at the finals.
He's
of
taking the
tournament.
elites though.
I don't know which ones. It was
They're for sure these guys.
probably, but he was taking like them in minimum 5-man squads.
Yeah. That's where they come in, yeah.
But yeah, the way I've seen him play with it, it was very surprising, very different, very unorthodox. I shot Signing Spears in that list as well.
He did, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm not the only crazy person. Warlocks.
That just was a funny guy to watch. But
Yeah, he is. They're good guys. Warlocks. I love Warlocks. You need Warlocks. The world needs more Warlocks. And you can take them and they don't take up a detachment slot, which is great.
Nice. Oh, that's only if you take with
of them.
a Farseer, right? If you take a Farseer.
Yes. Well, who's not taking a Farseer? Have you ever seen a list with no Farseers?
Not yet. But you're tempting me to go to Battlescribe and make a list without Farseers. I'll show it to you tomorrow.
One of the funny things with these guys, they lose the character ability if you add another one. If you start taking multiple, which makes sense, obviously. But 2 costs the same as 1. So 1 will cost 40 and 2 will cost 40, and you just lose the character word. So you can't hide them. And if you watch the battle report, you'll see how that helps to be able to hide them. Yeah.
But you gotta be careful though. They lose the character keyword.
I just said that.
Okay. I thought you meant like you kept them as character.
No, I took 2. I took 2 of them, so they lost the character keyword because there was 2 of them. There's no benefit for taking multiple ones unless you get to, well, besides the fact that you're going to get more attacks in close combat, but why are you in close combat with them? And you're not going to get more. You're not going to get more denies or casts. You're just going to get more wounds. You're going to get 4 wounds instead of 2 for the same price. So why not? And they're targetable. That's the only difference. If you take 4 of them, though, you get an extra spell. So if you get a full Warlock Council there, you get an extra spell at that point. And that could be worth it if you want to spend 80 points on that.
Just get another. Just try to save up for another Farseer if you can. If you haven't maxed out already.
Well, yeah. Let's just bring 6 Farseers. 3 on bikes and 3 on foot. You can do that, right? Yeah.
Your list is what?
3
Farseers.
3
on bikes and then 1 on the foot, right?
2 on feet, 2 on foot, and 1 on a bike.
Okay, so that's what it is.
Yep.
Though this unit here, you got to be very careful with them. You got to hide them.
Yeah.
That's why I'm sort of thinking maybe just take one on foot.
No, you could take 2. Always go with 2. Take 2 units of Warlocks. Always. I put Jinx and what's the other one? What's Jinx and
Guide?
no? It's basically gives +1 to your save. So and Jinx takes away 1 from the opponent's fortune, yeah. And then I usually give them the quickening. So 1 unit can quicken something. You can do whatever you want really with them, but if you're not going to be using quicken, I have a lot of bikes. At least 1 council, or at least 1 if you want to pay the extra points. If you're going to take 1 unit, talk about our next unit. After we place these guys, I'm going to put they're 100% tournament standard. Warlocks are tournament standard.
Where do you want to put them?
Put it before Rangers.
Before Rangers?
Yeah.
Okay.
So where they go?
I see a giant. It's very top heavy for Seers.
Yeah.
It's just psychic everywhere.
And Warlock Skyrunners, they're a little more expensive, but they're better because you get the speed. And that 1 guy can hide, you can get behind stuff, you can battle focus, get behind a building. You don't have to be as crucial with your movements because he's faster. Yeah, he's ahead of that one right there. They do the same thing.
Do they get the same benefit as the Warlocks, in which you could take 2 for the same price as 1?
I don't know actually. I don't think so. I don't think you can take 2 bikes. That would be a little bit ridiculous. But they are
just good character.
Very good character. No, it's not a character. They are, but I mean they're not like HQs. They take up and they take up slots. So you can't do that with them. They have to go in your elite slot because they're on a bike, but it's worth it because they're faster.
I was about to say, it's good to have, as you said with Warlocks, it's good to have.
Yeah.
They're just good to have a single unit somewhere doing stuff for your Farseers while your Farseers are busy casting the important stuff.
Yeah.
Just to have them there and just more denies.
Yep, absolutely. On to the next unit, one of my favorites, one of Eldar's favorites in general, Dire Avengers. You know a lot about them because you've been up against them. They are super good, and they have the best shuriken normal guns in the game. -2 base, -4 on 6s, and I take Hail of Doom, so there's a lot of 6s. That shreds Marines like you would never believe. Take 10 of them, it's incredible what you can do. And if you double tap, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous what they can do. They don't have OPSEC, but you can give them OPSEC, like we were saying with Stand Firm. You can cast OPSEC on them, put them on objectives, put them behind. I like to put one in a Falcon, we'll get to that. But they are super good and super auto-include. They are tournament standards. Would you disagree with that?
No, I completely agree. Considering every Eldar player I've played at this point brings at least 2 squads of Dire Avengers, 10 mans.
I think it goes ahead of the Warlock on foot.
Warlock on foot?
Yep.
Right here.
Beautiful. Anything else you want to say about them that you like? Or
being able to do actions and shoot in the same turn. So much utility from that.
Yeah.
Allows you to do knock wound, allows you to do mission specific objectives, secondaries if you're there doing that. And then if even 1 model dies in a 9-man and a 10-man unit, the rest of the 9,
5,
if they survive, can unleash hell by doing that stratagem that allows them to shoot twice.
They shoot twice. They double tap. It doesn't happen simultaneously like at that moment. It happens at the end of the shooting phase, but still, being able to shoot these guys twice is insane. And always take the twin shuriken on your Exarch. So he's double tapping. So he's taking 12 shots. He's going Rambo. Yeah, So absolutely.
Next unit now. So we see Fuegan is in Don't Take. Are we going to see his children aspect warriors over there too?
He's not as bad as him because you could find use for these guys. You could, but you're probably not because you see what's good for the whole thing with Eldar is the non-interaction. I don't want you to interact with me. I'm not super strong. I'm not super tough, but you're not going to shoot me. You're not going to see me all game. I'm going to hide. That's what Eldar players like to do. And if you're that cliche Eldar player, this is not the unit for you because they're going to have to pop out. You can nuke something definitely, but then they're dead. And then what? Like you spent all that on them. Dire Avengers can do what they do. They're not going to be it's not going to take out a tank. Dire Avengers not going to take out a tank, but death by 1,000 cuts they can.
Are you sure about that? I'm pretty sure I've seen Dire Avengers take out tanks.
They can. It's going to take a lot longer than these guys. These guys can absolutely just like pop it, but are you going to pay that for that one unit to just be there and then get deleted?
Honestly, no.
Exactly. And there's so many better things you can take. So much the mobility, like just bad choice in my book. Like I want to make them good because I know Marines still have use for like the Eradicators, right? Like you'd like to take 3 Eradicators to be able to pop something in one shot. It's not the same for them.
Yeah, their range is pitiful.
Exactly.
12 inches.
You're
Ouch.
not gonna. You have to basically put them in the fire. No pun intended. Now we're making a bunch of puns. It's not like you can keep them. What is it for Eradicators? 36?
No,
24.
24.
24 inches away is a lot better than 12, double.
Yep. And
so yeah,
tankier too.
way tankier. 3 wounds. Yeah, can't compare. Toughness 5 to their toughness 4, but they're not Marines. No.
If you're doing Hail of Doom, I mean your best anti-tank is literally Shuriken cannons.
Shuriken cannons, yeah. Unless you're playing Death Guard, then Shuriken cannons become Shuriken catapults.
I guess that's where they used to come from.
With
these
stronger
guys.
Shuriken catapults.
Okay, so
Yeah, so they're definitely bad. Not definitely, but I think they're bad. Now my favorite unit. Am I gonna overrank them? Probably. Howling Banshees. Amazing.
Oh my god.
I mean, what don't they do good? When their codex came out and I started playing at tournaments, nobody was taking Howling Banshees. I was like, what is going on? He goes, nobody see how good this unit is, or was it so obvious that people wanted to do something different? But now you see them everywhere. They're everywhere. Everybody has that one unit of Banshees. They do so much for you. Like you can't overwatch them.
Mm-hmm.
They fight first, or they make you fight last on the charge.
Yes.
You can do, if you start taking things like Children of Khaine, they're doing 2 damage on their 6s. Their Exarch, you can make them an absolute beast. When I say crazy, they get 4 attacks. The Exarch has 4 attacks. Okay? You take Mirror Swords, that's 8 attacks. Then you give them Piercing Strike to the Exarch, which 6s become 2 damage. He gets an extra attack. They get an extra attack, the Exarch, for having that's 5 attacks, becomes 10. Now, your one model from that unit is doing 10 attacks. 6s do 2 damage. If you have Children of Khaine, that 6 does 3 damage. Your Exarch right there, give them Guide, doom that target, it's taking out Knights. Like that unit's gonna take out Knights. So how can you not take them?
I don't see. The only thing I can see is just Shuriken abuse.
Shuriken abuse.
Just Shuriken abuse.
Shuriken spam. Don't want to get into close combat, but you need that unit. Like, I give them Web Strike. I like to Deep Strike them. If you have a Web Gate, you can throw them through that as well. You can use them as that like mind torture. Like, here's my Web Gate. You know what's coming out of there. Do not come to the middle of the board. Because you know what's going to hit you. 10 Banshees, and they're going to come in engagement range. And it's going to suck.
It's like, I hold the middle of the objective right now. Wait, where all these Banshees come from? Oh no!
You're going to hate your life. I love Banshees. I think they're top of the strong choice. They're not like tournament standard. You're not going to see them in every list, but you're going to see them in a lot of lists. At least 5 of them. I can guarantee that.
Yeah.
Does anybody disagree here with that?
I do not disagree. I think you're the, aside from one player I played, you're the only person who brings that many Banshees. So
Like I said, 5 is usually the magic number
Yeah,
for
it's
people.
typically 5, and the purpose of them is just to disrupt. It's not to kill. It's just there to be an annoying unit, to tie something up, and if they get the kill, that's amazing. They can move on. But it's there to just hold someone down because they have -1 to hit.
If you're going more combat-oriented, which you're not going to get a full combat-oriented list, but if you do take Children of Khaine, you can take something else with it that can make you a little shooty, as long as it's not Hail of Doom. Children of Khaine with these guys, if you take 2 units of them, or Striking Scorpions as well, they can be really, really annoying in close combat, and they can kill a lot of things, and then you just need a few Dire Avengers, some Exarchs, some Farseers. Still pretty good list, I think. Not top tier, but it would still be a good list and a fun list to play or try. So yeah, let's do them at top of strong right now. Striking Scorpions, you have a lot of experience playing these guys.
Yes, I do.
Want to talk about them?
They have mandibles. So before it used to be mandibles as an extra, like a dice roll.
Yeah.
Now it's just whenever they roll to, I believe, wound, it inflicts a mortal wound. They have Scorpion Chainswords, which gives them 1 extra attack for the unit, for each model in the unit, and then the Exarch, of course, gets a lot more with the Biting Blade, with all the upgrades you give them.
Yeah.
The whole point of the unit is they forward deploy, from what I've seen, forward deploy them, get them into combat ASAP with something that's tanky or something you want to kill. Just hope to God that Guide goes off, Doom goes off, every buff you have in the book goes off, just so you can mortal wound that unit to death. They're only strength 5 with the regular swords, the Scorpion Chainswords, but you're trying to fish for mortal wounds. Sort of like how you're trying to fish for shurikens, you're trying to fish for that 6. You're doing the same with this unit. Toughness 3, so they're squishy as elves usually are, but they have a 3-up save, so that makes up for it, and of course they have the 5-up aspect warrior invuln.
Exactly.
They seem like a very strong unit, plus I think
5-up invulns, like all of them do.
Invuln. And then they also have, and when an attack is made by this unit, unmodified 6s to hit, explode, get an extra attack. So that even helps you even more, unleashing the mortal wound engines of the Mana Blasters.
Yeah.
So I think they're really strong. A little bit slower than the Howling Banshees by an inch, but they sort of fill the same role, I think.
I think they're not as good as they're not as consistent as Banshees though.
What makes you say that?
I just think Banshees, they just hit better. They're +1 to wound. They're +1 to wound in the charge. They're just better, more consistent. And then, as you see, their main weapon, where is it?
Scorpion Chainsword.
Is only -1. Banshees get -3.
You're hoping to get those mortals.
There's mortals,
right?
yeah. You're fishing. You're swinging the odds. It's more swingy.
I mean, your whole entire army, if you're doing Hail of Doom, is basically fishing for 6s, right? So,
Yeah, but think about it. It's fishing for 6s on hits and wounds. And you can add rerolls on top of that. When you hit on when 6s to hit and 6s to wound do mortals, and then you're rerolling with Guide, you're rerolling all your hits, and then with Doom, you're rerolling all your wounds. There's going to be a lot of 6s, and it's going to shred you when they're -3, and when you're Dire Avengers, they're -4.
So I do see that, like in the tournament we played. Striking Scorpions whiffed on the Mana Blasters.
And that's it, they're useless.
And then Custodians decided to say, hey, we got some elves here. So I do agree it's swinging.
Situational. Let's just put them at the bottom of situational. They're nowhere near Banshees consistency. But like you said, if you get the right rolls, they will be doing some damage, some mortal wounds. Wraith Blades.
Take a swig of this.
Squiggity.
Okay.
Where's our waiter? Waiter. Can you grab me a water too? My voice is like a lot of talking, but we're good. Wraith Blades. Just grab me one from in there. No, yeah. Beautiful. Grab one for yourself too. You want a tip?
As always.
Thank you.
I got it.
Thanks. Anthony's running our stuff behind the scenes, so he's our waiter as well. Wraith Blades. I like Wraith Blades. I like Wraith units in general. I wish they were better. Some people say they make them work, and they can make them work really well. I've not played against that yet, and I don't see I don't see how you can make them work better than like Hail of Doom and all those shenanigans that you can do with the bikes and Dire Avengers. So Wraith armies don't work in my mind. What do you think?
There's just that one-off unit that you take with your Hail of Doom army. Keep in the middle, as I said before. Just buff the heck out of them with defensive buffs, because if you're going to have so many Farseers or Seers or what are they called? Warlocks? You're just going to be like giving offensive buffs to people. So whoever else you have left, just give defensive buffs to them.
I'm just laughing because I put the water on top of the computer here, and then I right away remembered what happened. We actually had a little mishap. Water spilled on the computer, so I don't want to do that again. Sorry, Anthony. Yeah, you're right. 100% right. I think the Wraith. I don't know. I think Wraith blades are more effective than the Wraith Guard, in my opinion. Like that's why you said you saw them like holding objectives, and so maybe put them up there with situational with the Striking Scorpions.
I think they're a situational pick.
Yeah.
You don't always need them, considering
they're not tournament, they're not strong.
If you're going to have that Wraith Blade unit in the middle, it's basically your anchor to the middle and trying to defend, rather than just all over the place.
So let's put them in situational, bottom of situational. I don't think they're tournament. You're not going to see them very often in a tournament.
Okay.
And then that moves us on to Wraith Guard, when I think they're like in the same kind of category, wouldn't you think?
Their guns are insanely good. They're not 7th edition insane, but they're pretty good.
Yeah.
Strength 10, AP minus
so
4,
expensive for
D3
them,
plus 3. I don't know the price. It doesn't say them here, but
they're not a cheap unit, and they're pretty soft.
Yeah, they do have -1 damage, like everyone does. If that's Wraith. That cannon though, wow, that is strong.
They're still like 3-up save, no invuln. They're gonna get shredded in like basically anything, especially if you play against another Eldar player.
Yeah.
Hail of Doom will death by 1,000 cuts to the 10th degree. I don't have them higher than them. I think they're better. The Wraith blades. Mm-hmm. Let's go ahead and I think they're honestly a bad choice.
I have not seen them yet. I think
both of them, but
I think the thing with this unit is you're going to be giving them offensive buffs to make them useful, because they're hitting on 3s, you only get 1 shot each, which is, I like to call it one-shot syndrome, because whenever you have 1 shot and you're hitting on 2s or 3s, guaranteed 50% shot time, it's going to miss.
That's the thing. It's the 1 shot. Yeah, they're really strong, but they're 1 shot, and you have 5 of them in a unit. You're going to take.
Yes.
You're not going to take 10.
You're going to be giving offensive buffs to these guys when they could be going to everything
exactly.
else. You're limited to what? Doom, Guide, Fortune, like Doom and Guide, and a bunch of other ones.
Doom, Guide, Fortune. Now, Fortune. I mean, you can give them +1 to their save. We'll make them a 2-up. That's great. They're not going to get cover saves anyways.
Yeah.
So you might as well make them a little bit better. I don't think they're a good choice. Like honestly, if you want my opinion, I would not even touch them. I would put them right before I would put them actually after them. I would rather take Fire Warriors. I think
Fire Dragons?
the Dragons over them, because at least when they hit, they're gonna hit hard.
These guys hit hard.
Not as hard. That's only D3 plus 3. Don't they do D6 plus 2?
But that's more swingy though, isn't it? D6 plus 2.
Well,
And also
D6 plus 4.
D6 plus 2.
Oh, okay.
And also
-4.
you have 18-inch range here compared to 12
Yeah,
inches.
12 inches. Okay, they're in the same book then. Let's put them right there with each other. They're interchangeable in my mind. But the Wraithlord is not interchangeable.
Oh, no.
He's a pretty good. I like him in my list. I tried taking him out. I tried doing different things. Definitely take a Ghostglaive if you're going to take a Wraithlord, because you need him to have some close combat ability. And I like to go to 2 Shuriken Catapults on the shoulders, and I have him as a strong take with that build. You don't need him to go right into the middle and charge, but you see the way I use him as a kind of like a sucker you in into an area, and then I bring him out, and he helps me kill big things that are scary that I need killed right away.
We have the same mindset. I do that with my Dreadnoughts too.
You do.
Dreadnought stays in the back, everything goes forward. If you want to start engaging my guys in the middle, you're going to have a giant robot coming up with you.
right.
Swinging the sword, stabbing with the spear.
The whole thing we were trying to teach Anthony, the whole linebacker mentality with those units. Use him as a linebacker. He's not like your front He's not like your front line there. He's just going to be waiting for things to come out, seeing where he needs to go, and then move to that part of the board. So I think he's a strong choice. I'm going to put him at the bottom of the of strong right now. Actually, I'll put him ahead of the
Defenders?
I'll put him ahead of Janzar as well.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I think anything with a Dreadnought stat line, and this guy's toughness 8, so he's even better than a regular
that's great.
Dreadnought.
It's so good.
He doesn't have Invuln though, but
He doesn't have an invuln. He's minus one damage. He's toughness 8, which is crazy, and he hits really hard in close combat. So it's all good.
okay.
Yeah, he's a great take. No one's going to say he's going to be in every list in the tournament, but he's going to be in a bunch, and he's great. There's no complaining about him. Now to the good stuff. Fast attack, the bikes, Windriders. Where do you think I put these?
I'm guessing you're gonna put them somewhere in strong, top of strong, or if not, like somewhere middle tournament.
I have my bikes. Me personally, I'm biased. I put them in tournament standard, but they're probably, and you're right, at the top of strong. They're so good. They're so cheap. Let's put them at the top of strong.
Wait, it's top of strong.
Yeah. They're cheap. You can bring big blobs of them. You can bring whatever you want, really. They can hold objectives pretty well. I mean, they're soft. You got to get behind cover.
Mm-hmm.
They're so fast. They can, with Hail of Doom, they can deal so much damage. You can spam these guys and do a lot of damage. Death by 1,000 cuts, again, that's the whole theme here. Take 3 units of them. I have 1 unit of 6. I have 2 units of 3. The best way to go with that would be 6, 6, and 3, I would say. Absolutely tournament standard, in my opinion. But let's put them at the top of strong because there's other things that we can talk about here. And yeah, the whole rerolling ones when opponents on an objective, they're great and they're cheap. They're just cheap. They're just cheap and you can throw them in and they do so many things. They're fast, they can screen. Is there anything that you say that there's bad with them besides being soft?
Anthony?
It's the question.
Yeah.
You guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you seen Ospec's tactics video about 40k doing the hard reset? What do you think of that?
They've been talking about that for a while now. So there's so many issues that they're having with a lot of the codexes. And as you see, codex comes out and it's broken beyond belief, like we saw with the Space Clowns. Usually that indicates that there's some hardcore issues with the rules in that edition. So I don't think that's a rumor. I think that's actually probably going to be coming up pretty soon with 10th edition. It's going to be a hard reset on all the rules. Armor of Contempt was a dead giveaway. When you bring out something like that, like, you know what, we have so many rules to change. We're just going to give all Space Marines -1 AP. That's a big indicator that there's probably is going to be a hard reset. So. Was that the question? Is he asking if we think it's going to be a reset? I didn't see the Auspex video, no, but I do agree with that, or I think it could be going along that for sure. What do you think?
I don't know. I think the 9th edition rules are pretty decent.
I don't think they're that bad. I think they need a big rearranging with some of the things.
If anything, it might be like a wipe back to indices, like because it's not the rule issue.
No, it's not the rules. No,
codexes are just getting out of hand.
Yeah,
like I believe we've only the most recent change to the main rules was the 2-inch pylon, right? For obscuring terrain.
That's right.
Everything else has been pretty much the same for a long time.
Well, there's been a huge damage creep.
That's the codex issue,
yeah,
not an
that's
actual
a codex issue.
Core rule issue.
No.
So if anything, maybe they'll build on top of 9th. It'll just be like 9th plus, and then codexes just completely redoing.
Right.
Which I personally think should be done because it's getting a bit ridiculous with all the number of rules that are there. A lot of redundancies, a lot of the same rules for each different army, but it's just under a different name. It gets it's a lot to take in.
Yeah, it's a good question. Another thing you saw to go with that is they basically they got rid of Tau. They're just like, this shooting's too much for us to deal with. There's going to be way too many changes we have to make. Just nerf them beyond belief and just take them out of this edition. And that's what happened to Tau. Tau's still usable if you're good players can still use Tau on you. And that's scary. That's how good they were. Like, there's going to be codexes coming out now, demons, that have characters, or not characters, they're going to have units that ignore the ignore invuln rule.
Because it's not
So guns that ignore invulns, they still get their invuln saved. So that's when you know it's just like a shit show at that point. When you have to start making rules like that, it's just like, okay, just
Oh
reset.
my goodness.
So good question. Yeah, we think there's going to be a pretty big reset as well. It happens. It's not a, like you said, it's not a core rules issue. It's a the codex issue.
Yeah.
Damage creep, all that got out of hand.
Yeah, thanks for the question.
Good question. Another thing with that, indirect fire, right?
Yes,
Like,
you're
just
right.
things getting eliminated, like that squatted. You know there's issues when that happens. When you just see a whole dynamic of the game gone, like, was it that bad? Like, you start questioning the entire, pretty much the whole game. Like, what else is this bad? But good question.
I would say that the reason why Guardians have a lease of life is because indirect fire is not a thing anymore.
Guardians?
Or indirect fire is nerfed.
Yeah,
So-
absolutely. This is based on the whole fact that you can't shoot them.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens when Guard comes out. But this is based on the fact that indirect fire is not that big of an issue anymore. And we're getting to that as well.
Okay. So let's go back to back on
Vipers.
topic. Like, you want to talk me?
Oh yeah,
talk
you were saying about the
Windriders,
bikes.
right?
What do you think about Windriders?
Fast, 2 wounds each, 3-up save, which most people are still in the 8th edition or 7th edition mindset that your toughness 3 with like a 4-up save.
Yeah.
They're deceptive. They have a 3-up save, and they're Space Marines.
Mm-hmm.
They are legit Space Marines that are just really fast with actually good guns.
Yeah.
So that's all I got to say.
All right. So let's go to the Vipers. We agree they're good, right?
Vipers. Unfortunately, I've never seen them in.
No. I'm saying we agree that the Windriders are good.
Yeah, Windriders. Are good.
Yeah. Vipers, they're good for screening. I'd say take 1 or 2. They're not tournament standard. In my books, they're situational. They have, you're not taking them to shoot things off the board. They're nowhere near the clown bikes.
Mm-hmm.
If that's what you want a comparison to, like, clown bikes are much better. And you can take 1 or 2 of these. I see people take them just to use them as screening, to go on objectives and be annoying. I would just go with the shuriken cannon on it. I have them as situational. Bottom is you can put them ahead of the.
Wraith?
I don't think they're ahead of the Wraiths, but yeah, maybe. You see them more, I guess.
I think there might be another unit that would be better in that aspect then. Warwalkers. They have, I believe, 4 deploy.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that after. I
we'll
got to double
get there.
check. They have a 5 invuln, which these things don't.
Yeah.
Oh, everything okay?
Yeah, your chair needs to get in the camera, turning to your back.
Okay.
It's fine though. Swooping Hawks. Yeah, we'll get to that in a second with the heavy units, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Swooping Hawks. What do you think? I'll let you talk about it because I'm biased.
I'm going to be biased too because these things hurt.
Yeah.
They have strength 4 last blasters, which are assault 4. They're assault 4 weapons, right?
They are assault
4 weapons, strength AP 0. So you'd assume something with the word last in it is not going to be that threatening unless it's a last cannon or last fusel. But the thing is, on an unmodified hit roll or wound roll, or hit roll of 6, auto wounds. So when you have a full 10-man squad of these guys, 40 shots, you're gonna, even if you're a custodian, you're gonna be taking a lot of 2-up saves, and you're gonna be in a world of pain. They have the whole thing with Baharroth, where after they shoot, they get to go somewhere else. And so they're just a unit that you're not gonna be able to lock down unless you are able to, get him in a bad position. He's in a bad, position after he fell back down. Fly into them, shoot them, kill them. These guys are a very difficult unit to take care of, but their utility is amazing. They can do Nakamoon because they fly, or Nephilim because they fly. They can do
Engage on all fronts.
Engage on all fronts. Mission-specific secondary, primary secondaries.
Yep.
I would say you need to take at least a 6-man, simply just for engage all fronts or Nephilim.
Yeah. And you're missing out. They get Mr. Baharroth there gives them automatic. What's it called again? OPSEC. So the OPSEC's nice too. End of game, it might be something that matters. Like you said, and 40 shots. I'd like to take 10 of them. Most people take a nice blob of them, like 8 at least. They get 4 shots apiece. 6 is auto wound. AP nothing, but it doesn't matter when you get that many wounds in, when you have that many shots. They're strength 4 now. So, pretty good.
Strength 4. Strength 4. Marines on 4s. 3-up saves. You're guaranteed, like, you're going to suffer a lot of deaths on a regular intercessor squad. I'm just going to say that. And this unit is way more utility for what it's worth, like what their point cost is. Their utility is like up here.
Yeah. They're like auto include, so you know where I'm going to put these guys. Put them right before the Dire Avengers.
Back here?
Yeah, no, at the top, ahead of them. They're great. They're like, when you read the codex and you're reading this and you look at their stat line, it's whatever. When you start reading the abilities they have, how can you not take these guys into a tournament? They're automatically going to give you stuff in your set for your secondaries. They're going to shoot stuff, run away from them, always be safe unless you get screwed over somehow. They're always going to be in a good position to be safe and or not even targeted at all if you know how to move them around.
Yeah.
And they're always going to be getting you a secondary. They're either going to be doing Nephilim, like Justin said, or they're going to be that one unit that you can't see on the side of the board that you can't see, getting you engaged on all fronts. So absolutely auto include. Take at least one unit of these guys. I would go with like the numbers you see are like 7 to 10. I wouldn't go too low because if they do get caught from an angle, like if you're playing against custodes that have bikes that can move and get around a corner and at least shoot at you with a few times, you're going to lose some models because even with the plume, they're going to have a 5-up feel no pain. And they're going to have a 5-up invuln, but it's still not enough for these guys. They're 1 damage, they're 1 wound, they have 3 toughness. You're going to lose some models, so you want to be able to like take a little shot and then still move away somewhere next turn. So yeah, that's them. Warp Spiders, a lot better than a lot of people think they are.
A lot better than what people think they are?
Yeah, because a lot of people were saying Swooping Hawks are so much better than Warp Spiders because they can only do that basically once, and you got to pay for it.
Oh, okay.
They can blink away, and you got to pay for that with, I think it's a relic. I think it's their relic. I don't use Warp Spiders. They are very good though, and their guns are better than, you're going to get a lot more damage with their guns. So they're going to blink in, shoot something, and they're going to do some decent damage, then blink away somewhere. But they're not going to be able to do that again. Another great thing Warp Spiders can do, you charging me, you need a 6, I'm going to move. You can't charge me, or you can, but it's going to be a lot longer. So that's really good as well. They're more of this theme of you can't interact with my army.
Yes.
Coming up. They do that very well. So like with all the things they get, I would say they're situational, like top of situational, or even bottom of strong. You can put them. I put them ahead of the defenders.
Ahead of the defenders?
Yeah, that's fine. They're good there.
Interesting.
What do you think? You haven't fought them, I don't think, in a while, right?
I have not seen them in action. Looking at the stat line itself, range 12 on their guns though, which is very, very small.
Yeah, that's why you blink them in. You bring them in, you blink them right behind somebody, and then fade away. Once.
Only once?
Yeah, you can only do it once. It's a relic that does that.
I thought this one is, it's anytime.
What?
The jump generator, but...
No, the jump generator is what I was telling you about with the, when you charge. Oh, you're talking about the jump generator. I'm talking about actually blinking them away. No, they can do that. They can jump around. I'm talking about when you can move them somewhere else, like 9 inches away, like the Swooping Hawks do, but it is a one-time use, and it's a Exarch power.
Okay, that's cool.
Exarch power, or it's either an Exarch power or it's a relic for them, but they're good. I mean, they're up there. Check them out.
All right.
Shining Spear is one of my favorites. They're tough. They got big bases. That's the only downfall in my opinion. They're hard to move around if you're going to bring 6. They're tough. They're Exarch. You can actually get the Exarch to 4 wounds, which is great. You give him a Shimmer Shield. He's got a 4-up invuln. So he's your beat stick for the unit, beat stick for Eldar. And they hit really hard in close combat. When you get into that lance range, they're doing -4, 2 damage each. You can give the Exarch the Star Lance and make him a strength 8. You don't really need to. And then in close combat, they can do just as much damage.
Wow.
Yeah, and they're
Interesting.
you can get. Oh, I like to give them expert lancers as well, so they're 2+ to hit when they get into close combat on the charge. That's always great too. So they hit on 2s. You don't really need to reroll 1 on them. You can waste it somewhere else. You can doom the target they're attacking, so they can reroll all wounds. That's usually really good because they're strength 6. So you could use a doom with them. They're just tough and they're great and they're such a distraction. People want to get them off the board. They're so good. I love them.
Yeah.
Take 9 of them at least, in my opinion.
I fell for the bait already.
Yeah,
Going after
you
the 6-man blob.
They're not as soft as you thought.
They might be once you start stacking on the damage 2 weapons.
Yeah.
You need a lot of volume though.
A lot of volume.
But once you get into melee combat, if I fight you,
-1
melee
to hit.
combat-
Sorry, forgot to mention. -1 to hit when shooting at them. So.
So the only weakness I saw when we played, especially, was once I get into melee combat with you, even a regular custodian can start punching with the Misericordia. And
Yeah, because they're only toughness 4, right?
toughness 4, and their lances become a little bit weaker.
They only get the strength 6 on the charge. Yeah.
Yeah, so just take that in mind. If you're fighting Shining Spears, charge them first before they charge you.
If you survive, because once they charge you, remember they're shooting. If they're in that range, they're shooting you with the lance. Then they're charging you.
That's where your linebacker comes in.
Exactly. That's when you bring in some other stuff to deal with that. But yeah, let's put them up there. I have them in tournament standard. I have them right above the Rangers.
Rangers? You mean the Avengers?
Rangers.
Oh, above the Rangers. Okay.
Yeah.
Here.
Tournament standards, in my opinion. You might not see them everywhere. You might not see them everywhere. Would you say top is strong then? If you're not going to see them in everywhere?
I guess if you want, like, this is our list though, right? If you,
Yeah,
it's
true.
what you think is tournament standard. I think
the tournament standards. I do think the tournament standards. You're not going to see them everywhere because they're not everybody's favorite. They're not the way people play right now, but I think the tournament standards, and I'm going to stick with that.
I know you wowed a lot of people at TGX with the Shining Spears,
Yep.
so
Yep.
it's just people got to adapt to it.
Yeah, some changes. All right, Shroud Runners, what do you think? Ranger bikes.
Rangers on bikes. What more do you want? I honestly don't know too much about these guys.
Well, listen, like all the other bikes, they're pretty good. They're not going to be bad.
How about this guy?
What?
How about the Autarch on a bike?
Didn't we put him?
He's a bad choice.
Oh yeah.
Except him. That's the only exception.
He's bad choice because you wanted him to be a bad choice. He's actually a don't take for me. If you see my list, he's a don't take. But I put him there for you because you said you made some good points. So I agree with that. Shroud Runners, situational bike. There's nothing like core wrong with them. They're just, do you need that? Do you need that type of firepower? Their movement's great. You're not going to be able to, they're pretty expensive for what they do. In my opinion, heavy one shot, they're snipers on bikes. Do you need snipers on bikes?
That's where the bike keywords comes in. They're not infantry anymore. So they're always hitting on 2s, even if they move.
That is great, but you want to hide your snipers usually.
They're fast. They're bikes again. Engage
Yeah.
all fronts if you need it. I know that
That's
one
true.
of our buddies was trying to use one of the Eldar secondaries, right? Like it was like target acquisition or like some sort of like recon
If you're
ability.
going to use them as like a secondary grabbing unit, yeah, that might work. Minimum 3. They're not that expensive. Yeah, you can put them as like top of situational.
I honestly don't know where these guys
I think
go,
they're good at. They're not bad. Yeah. I do have.
Where do you want to put them? You're doubting yourself now.
Yeah, because like. I'd say they're. Yeah, I'd say just put them there. That's fine. I think they're good.
Okay, we'll leave them there.
You made some good points there. You can use them if you use them like that, like for secondary hunting and stuff like that. Yeah, they can be really good. Warwalkers, you see a lot of them. You see a lot of them at tournaments. They're definitely strong. You don't want to overload them with upgrades. You don't want to be taking like big, just like making them so expensive that they're not worth taking anymore. But Warwalkers are good. Like bringing a few Warwalkers out.
Yeah, I was going to talk about how the Vipers you said you to do for screening. I think these guys would do a better job. They maybe cost a little bit more.
Yeah.
But they do have a 5 invuln built in, and you can equip a couple. I think more heavy weapons on them.
Yeah, you can.
So I've seen a player bring them. You just got to make sure that you don't put them out in the open. Where the only targets I can see are 2 Warwalkers and the rest of your army's hidden, your Warwalkers are basically done turn 1. You want to hide them just to deny deep strike. When you know your opponent has started moving in, you move them out of combat, move them out of the terrain, and then you start like, shooting whatever weapons you got. Shuriken cannons, which are just amazing with Hail of Doom.
Yep.
I think they're a good spot. The only thing that might be a downside is they don't fly, so they're not as mobile as Vipers, but with 10-inch movement, it's still pretty good.
Yeah. I think they're a strong choice. I think they put them right ahead of of Khaine there. You're going to see them in a lot of lists.
I think for sure they're way better than Vipers, but
they are. Yeah, they are. Absolutely. And you're going to see them in tournaments way more than you see Vipers for sure. Dark Reapers.
What to do with it?
What to do with this unit that you shouldn't take?
They got hit with the nerf back really hard with their codex.
Moving, now you have to pay to move, and you can't move and shoot for free anymore. You got to pay for it. They just don't do that. And the indirect fire stuff is gone. They're just bad. They're just bad choices. There's so many better things to take.
Mulligan Ra, I'm sorry, but these guys are going to be under you. I'll legit put them under you.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, you put them right under, underneath. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Support weapons. Do we need to talk about these after they got slapped by the GW hammer?
I'm guessing before they used to be tournament standard. Now they're probably in either situational or bad choice.
These used to be 100% tournament standard. Now they are. Just don't take them.
Don't take them.
Why are you going to take that?
Even with the D cannon.
But why?
D cannon's pretty good.
-1 to hit.
But the only thing is it's 24 inches.
24 inch, which is fine, but they're -1 to hit, and you don't need indirect fire anymore.
Okay.
Because you have so much better things.
Put them somewhere here.
Put them right underneath the other guys. The one we just did. Dark Reapers.
Put them beside them.
Right underneath.
Underneath. They're both don't take.
Yeah, right underneath, the second one, down the rank. Yeah, you're good. Are you Anthony over here reading backwards? Falcon. I love the Falcon. I use it all the time. Cloud Strike is so good. Turn 1 Deep Strike. Is there anything else we need to say about that? Turn 1 Deep Strike.
Turn 1 Deep Strike. The Pulse Laser is good. D3 plus 3.
Yeah, D3 plus 3 damage. You get 2 shots with that. I like to put the 2 cannons on it as well. Shuriken cannons. And another thing I like to do with it is put Dire Avengers inside. And this is turn 1 Deep Strike. Cloud Strike doesn't count as, moving. Come out with Dire Avengers and shoot another squad. So you're unloading a lot of firepower, as well as it's not a drop pod. This is a legit grav tank. You're shooting big guns as well as guys popping out on an objective. It's really powerful. I like to use it. Doesn't have to be first turn every time to be very effective. You can come in second turn and do that, as you saw a couple days ago. What do you think about it?
I like the Pulse Laser. Anything that's D3 plus 3 is a very solid anti-tank and heavy infantry stat line, especially since everything is creeping up with lots of more wounds.
Yep.
I like D3 plus 3.
Yeah.
No bias because the Custodes missiles are always D3 plus 3, and I'm so used to them now.
I think it's a strong choice. Ahead of James R there, I have in my list. Strong choice. Good tank to take. Night Spinners, they had their day in the sun. They had their day in the sun where you could take 2 or 3 of these guys, indirect, keep them at the back, bunch of shots, and they were worth what they were worth. I mean, they're pretty cheap for what they were doing, but now indirect is nerfed, and they're hitting on 4s.
So I'm guessing they had their time in the sun. They were always take, and now they're probably going to be put in the back of the case.
Now they're a bad choice. Yeah, they're just not a good choice.
Bad choice? Not even don't take?
You want to put them at don't take?
I'd assume don't take, considering
you can put them at don't take. Put them underneath the cannon there.
Right beside the cannon?
Right in front, because they do more than the cannon does. They can move around and do things. But actually, put them at the top and don't take.
Because I'd assume that with indirect fire being so heavily nerfed, that these things would just be not usable.
They're usable. They're usable. They're just, you're not going to take them. There's way better things.
Though to be fair, if you do want to be risky with this tank, it does have Sorry, may I take a look at that back? It does have 2d6 autocannon shots. So if you really want to be ballsy with it, treat it like a Chimera, a toughness 7
Doomweavers?
vehicle. Yeah. Just move them up and just start spamming autocannons. Randomized autocannon shots, but still.
Yeah, random, exactly.
I mean, maybe don't take it as a.
Okay, let's do don't take, bottom of the don't take.
No, I think maybe over here.
No, bottom of bad choice, I mean.
Yeah. Because now that I'm looking at it, strength 7, AP minus 2 damage is pretty good, even if it's indirect fire.
Fire Prisms, they want to be good. The Codex wants them to be good. The Stratagems want them to be good. But guess what? GW said, no more Stratagems. You get no CP. So you used to be able to take 2 of these guys and do some good damage. Definitely delete things on the board. Even though I didn't have them, even back then at the top of the list, they were like maybe strong, situational. Now I have them as a bad choice because they're just overpriced and I can't do everything I want to do with them. So why am I taking them? I can't use my stratagems that I want with them. You could have double tapped with them before.
So where do I put them?
Put them right with the Night Spinner. And join the Night Spinner in the GW Nerf category. Bottom of bad choice.
I've never seen them, so I honestly don't know anything about them.
Yeah.
Literally who's?
Wave Serpents. Situational. Definitely situational. They could be strong, I guess, in some lists, but I think they're situational right now because there's just better things you can do. But top of situational, they are good in the sense that you can put Dire Avengers in there, move them forward, put them on objectives, jump out, keep them safe for a little bit until you need them. And they are hard to kill because you can only wound them on a 4.
And they have a 5+ invuln.
And they have a 5+ invuln. So they're most survivable tank. They're cheaper than a Fire Prism. They're around the same price as a Night Spinner. You can put the same gun. You can put a Bright Lance on them if you really want to spend the extra points. Most people keep them pretty cheap. Put cannons on them, and just you're using them more as a transport more than anything, and just like this unkillable unit. Well, it's not unkillable, but it's a nuisance to take out.
Yeah.
And hit wounding on a 4-up. You don't want to put, like, people dread putting their last cannons and big guns into, I have a Melta here, I can only wound you on a 4. That sucks, right? So it's a deterrent. So putting your guys inside that and moving them up is always a great strat. It's not super strong anymore, but it's definitely a top of situational based on how you play, in my opinion. What do you think?
A lot of people bring these, what is it called, Wave Serpents?
Wave Serpents.
They do give you a hard time if you stay out of range of heavy weapons. Like, majority of people's like just lots of weapons. You want to keep them near like the tip of where your opponent can start unloading a lot of shots into you. Once you get to that point where you start moving in, you got to be very careful. You got to keep out of line of sight. You got to give your opponent other targets than the Wave Serpent, or even use the Wave Serpent to help screen from your more important Dire Avengers, Banshees. Otherwise, they're just going to be dying really fast.
Yeah.
And that is still a graph tank. It's like 100 something points. You don't want that thing to die turn 1 and leave your guys stranded. After they unload their units, you probably want to use them to fly around, be a nuisance. A lot of players, when I played at TGX, did exactly that. Wave Serpents were just annoying, move blocking especially.
Yeah.
That's something that you can use them for. They're just so big and cumbersome. You can help block opponents, especially if they cannot have fly.
Yep. Let's talk about all the flyers now. The Crimson Hunter, the Hemlock. Talk about them together. We don't have to get specific about anything. We could just talk about them in general. I don't think you're not. I haven't seen any in tournaments in a while. You can't get engaged on all fronts anymore with flyers. You can't hold objectives. In my opinion, they're bad choices. They're bottom of bad for both of these. Put all 3 flyers in the bottom of bad. There's the one over there that Anthony added in. If you want to see their stats, go ahead and go check them out. You can't do a lot with flyers now, and with Eldar, it's like you want that extra ability to be able to get your secondaries and be able to do trickery in each corner. And taking flyers, yeah, they can go over and bomb and do a good amount of damage when you look at the guns, but I just don't think they're useful for what Eldar can do. What Eldari can do, you're going to bring units that can't score, engage on all fronts, bring units that can't get your objectives. Why you're bringing them there just to like unload bombs and do damage? I don't think they're Tau. That's a good Tau strat right now, but I don't think it's a good Eldar strat.
These aren't even bombs though. They're just these are
Guns.
just fighters.
Yeah.
If they had like bombing runs
Like mortals, yeah, that'd
then
be great.
that'd be a different story.
Yeah.
But if it's just pure damage you need, other places can give you better.
100%. Let's move on. Making good time now. Wraith Knight, the big boy. So I've seen armies with 3 of these. And they look nice. They don't do well in tournaments, but they look nice. And they're scary, and they're very situational. They're extremely situational. We don't need to tell you how hard they hit. Strength 16 gun, the Wraith Cannon. It's AP -4, D3 +6. It's insane. This inflicts D3 mortals on 6s. It's super strong. You're not going to see them everywhere. You're not going to see them in very many lists at all, even one. We saw one with 3. We saw multiple ones with 3, actually. But then again, it's just a very situational unit. It's strong. There's nothing you can say. It's strong, but why are you taking this? What are you building around this? You bring a nice knight. What are you going to bring around that? Wraith knights? Wraith units?
Doesn't necessarily have to be a Wraith, but you're going to have to build your army around one big centerpiece model, which is going to limit you, because in case that centerpiece is down, the rest of your army is built to support that, synergize. Where's the synergy now if the big dude's
Exactly.
dead?
Even if you bring 2 of them, like, what are you bringing as support?
You're going to have even less if you bring 2 of them.
That's what I mean.
The more Wraith Knights you have, the less support to synergize there are.
Bring Wraithlords with them?
I think just bring lots of...
Bikes?
This thing hits hard with heavy weaponry. You probably want something that's small and fast.
Yeah.
Like just to be able to
Getting
take care
objectives
of,
and...
take care of the chaff of your opponent.
Yeah.
Help screen out. Just tie things up. You probably want like just more aspect warriors. I find.
I agree with that. And for that reason alone, because their stat line is nuts, they're not bad. Definitely not don't take. They're strong. They're not going to be seen in tournament lists very often. So I would say super situational unit, because they're just so expensive, and you have to, like, your army's gonna be built weird, right? Like it's just a very specific build you have to do with them.
The way I'm seeing a lot of this is specific builds are not the best for Eldar. You want to have a lot of synergy and a lot of different things.
Yeah.
In case one part of the plan fails, you still have the other parts of the plan which are going to be able to do well.
That's right. 100% right. Moving on to the web gate.
Over here?
In my opinion, it's a tournament standard. I think it's more like a strong choice. There's so much you can do with it. When it's just, it's a fortification. I'm not gonna say top is strong. Let's put them right before the War Walker.
So here?
Before, yeah. You know what it does. You can scare people off from coming. Like, you could just put that, if the board suits you properly, you can just put it on the most wanted objective in the middle. As long as it's 12 inches away from your opponent's deployment, throw that there. Nobody's gonna come near it for the entire game, as long as you have things in deep strike or in reserve, especially Banshees. If you have a Wraithlord in reserve, whatever, they're not going to want to come near that, because here's the thing: they can come in engagement range. You're going to basically take away Overwatch. They're in engagement. They don't have to. There's no charge to fail. I'm just going to fight you. You're just going to be there, and I'm going to fight you, and I'm going to take the objective that you're trying to take. And not only that, it's being a deterrent, but it's also a good way to get your units in for cheap. So 21 power level, I believe. It's 21 power level that costs 3 CP. This cuts your, you can take reserves as half rounding down. So 3 becomes, 1.5 becomes 1. So now you're putting 21 power level in reserve for 1 CP. That is insane. That's really, really strong in my opinion, especially when you want that ability. If you saw my fight against the Tau against Anthony, the board was really open, and I was just like, I don't want anything on the board here. Like, I want very minimal things on the board. I'm going to put a bunch of stuff in reserve, and I was able to do that because there's only 1 CP. And yeah, it's really good. There's a few ways to counter it, though.
Yes. Any army that has some sort of Auspex scan, so AdMech have a variant of it. Space Marine's Auspex scan, of course, that's what it's named after. If you park a unit that's right within 12 inches of the web gate, if they come in from strategic reserves, you can actually spend your 2 command points to get a free shooting phase against that unit. So say you have aggressors, which you you rarely see, or a squad of like 5 intercessors, or even like a 10-man squad. That unit, what's coming out of the Webway Gate, if it's squishy, like Dire Avengers or Banshees, is going to get lit. Another way you can stop that is bringing infiltrators or anything that has a 12-inch denial. Park them near the Webway Gate. Nothing can come out of it as per the rules of Scramblers.
Right.
So that's 2 ways to beat them.
Exactly. So I think it's good. I think it's strong. You disagree?
Webway Gate is very powerful.
Yeah.
It's also a good way to deny your opponent from taking an objective. Say you have turn 1 and your opponent is second. They're not going to be going onto that Webway Gate because they know turn 2, there's a high chance that something's going to come out of it.
The unit before that,
Something Spectres?
the
Shadow Spectres.
Shadow Spectres, yes, the Shadow Spectres are nice. That's what they're called. Their guns are pretty good. You're not going to see them a lot. They're Forge World. I don't want to call them a bad choice, but they are a bad choice.
Okay.
I want them to be good. They look cool. Put them right after the Wraith Knight. Sorry, the Wraith Guard.
Wraith Guard.
And Anthony put this unit in to just meme on us, but obviously it's not takeable here. He likes them. He wants me to buy one for the studio, or he wants to buy one for the studio, right, Anthony?
Hey, tenants are cool.
So if we reach 10,000 subscribers if we get to 10,000 subscribers, you're gonna buy one by December.
December?
Yeah.
Deal.
So get to 10,000 subscribers, get us to 10K. Anthony's gonna buy one of those or 2?
2 if I get to paint them.
Okay.
Oh, so one for me to paint and one for you to do whatever.
So you'll buy 2 of those, and then we'll paint, and you get to paint one, he'll paint one, and then that'll be the challenge. Cool. All right, deal. So obviously they're not no take. Just leave them off the list.
I already put them on the list.
No, because people are gonna snapshot that and be like, "Why did you guys put that
You
on
won't come
there?"
out. You won't get off.
Delete them.
I did delete it. I deleted it.
No, leave them. It's fine. All right, we have the meme at the end. Yeah, that's the tier ranking. What do you think of that?
I see it's all over the place, honestly. I'm surprised that there's so many. It's
Bad
pretty
choices?
balanced. It's pretty balanced.
It is
actually.
pretty balanced. I think it's not that bad of a codex. I think that's why we saw they didn't take that many hits. Like Eldar are really strong, but going back to the whole nerf hammer and reset of 40K, they're not that bad. They're not off. They're not that bad of of a codex. It just doesn't need that much nerfing. Hail of Doom took a nerf, point increases, and that was it.
I would say that it's very much leaning towards a lot of utility and lots of psychic. That's just it. It's just utility, being able to deny your opponent from making any choices and decisions.
Yeah.
It's trying to make your army as little interactivity for you and your opponent as possible, while you score the secondaries that don't even need to be interacting with your opponent.
Yeah.
Warp Ritual, just go to the middle, no interactivity with your opponent because you can easily bounce back. Engage all fronts. If you kill your opponent already, or if you don't even want to bother fighting him, just put your units there.
Yeah.
All over the place. Easy.
Exactly.
Nephilim, just go to the corners. No interaction with your opponent. I'm seeing it's a pattern like that. It's play Warhammer without actually playing with your opponent.
You're playing with yourself. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. playing Eldar is like playing with yourself. So put the meme up. Okay. So I like it. I think it looks good. One more thing we forgot to mention. This is more into strategy with Eldar, but movement is very important. Very, very important. And I actually talk about all that in our upcoming tactics video. We have an Eldar tactics video coming out next week. I talk about how important positioning is now, especially for your bikes. And yeah, like you said, it's about not being able to interact with these guys, and they do it very well. So that's our tier ranking. Thanks for joining us. This one went a little bit long, but there's so much to talk about, and this is only we still have more to talk about. Like, there's still more to this codex. There's Ynnari, there's Space Clowns.
Oh my
We'll get
goodness.
to it eventually. This is a huge codex, but this is Craft Worlds unit ranking. Thanks for joining us. We're Northern Knights Gaming. I'm Claudio.
I'm Justin.
We'll see you next time.
Later.
Take care. The Webgate.
Clowns.
Space Clowns. Yeah. Anyways, we need to. Yeah. What about the